What's up, y'all? It's Chris, HBIC Chrissy, or HBI Chrissy. Um, I really wanted to. Sorry, I'm all short. But I really wanted to just take a moment and, one, give a public R.I.P to John Witherspoon. Excuse me, because I have a slight cold and I'm stuffy. My nose is stuffed up, so if I sound funny, that's why. But yesterday, I guess at some point yesterday, John Witherspoon has passed at the age of 77, according to social media. And when you grow up watching celebrities, it's kind of like you know them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they are the characters that they played. You know what I mean? Not a lot of them, but in particularly for me, when Uncle Bernie Mac died, that really hurt me because I always looked up to him like an uncle. And it's like, how can you do that and you've never met the person or whatever the case may be? I don't know how. It's just, that's how down to earth their character was, the roles that they played, and the life that they live. You feel me? It's something about these comedians, you know what I mean, that make us laugh, and losing them hits home. Or even certain artists, singers or actors like Robin Williams. Man, that hurt because I grew up watching him. You know what I mean? I was a big fan of his movies. Michael Jackson, that hit home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never going to see this man live. You know what I mean? He left before I was able to meet him. Not saying that I would have met him, but see him perform on stage. You know what I mean? Just to have that go down in your bucket list of life, you know what I mean, would have been great. And not that I had ever planned on meeting John Witherspoon, but he was definitely Pops. It was like Pops. He was Pops. That's the role he played. That's the character that he gave. And that was his down-to-earth personality. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? When these celebrities go that have such a major impact, you know what I mean? Part of that is because of who they are. You know what I mean? So it kind of got me thinking. And on top of that, like, I'm on birth control, y'all. So I'm very, like, if I start crying again, you just know that it's my freaking hormones out of whack, okay? I'm very hormonal, okay? And this daggone birth control. But, I'm super stuffy too. I'm like, gee. But, it just got me thinking, like, look at the kind of impact that they leave when they leave this earth. You know what I mean? And I honestly sat back and thought, like, if I was to die today, I wouldn't even have half of the impact. Not because I'm not famous. I'm talking about for the people that know me or know of me. Like, it just makes me do some self-searching and makes me think, like, am I not humble enough, you know what I mean, to leave a great impact, you know what I mean? So that's why I wanted to post this video, you know what I mean, to put these thoughts out there, because I don't think that my personality would leave that type of impact. I don't think that I left an imprint, or I'm leaving an imprint in the sand, for the generations behind me, you know what I mean? And that kind of hits home, you know what I mean? Because if you can't leave a legacy behind, and there's not, like, people yeah, like your family and friends, close family and friends are going to miss you and love you, and you have an impact on their life. But people that don't even know you, you know what I mean? Like, to touch people that you don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, that's a different level of humility. And that's a level that I pray to reach someday. You know what I mean? Like, I know I still got a lot of growing and things of that nature to do. I talk a lot of ish, you feel me? So, and that's another thing I was thinking about. Like, I talk a lot of ish, but you know what I mean? One thing that I realized is Uncle Bernie, John Witherspoon, Michael Jackson, they wasn't leaving this earth talking junk. They was very humble. You know what I mean? Very humble. All they had was their music and their laughs and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, it sounds good. It's something that you got to practice. You know what I mean? I talk a lot of ish just because of the lifestyle that I had. Not lifestyle, but the life that I had. You know what I mean? You know that saying, I didn't choose the streets chose me. Like, that's pretty much like how it is. Like, I didn't choose this life. This life chose me, and it made me to be aggressive because I always had to defend myself. You know what I mean? I always had to guard myself. I always had to fight. You know what I mean? So my aggression gets in the way of my humility. You know what I mean? But if I don't take anything else from, you know, the fact that, you know, we getting old, y'all. You know what I mean? We getting old. We're losing a lot of celebrities and stars that we admired, that we grown to love as a child. You know what I mean? They're leaving us. And a lot of our, you know, in our hometown, you know, even people close to us, family members, friends, or people we went to school with, they're leaving. They're leaving this earth. And it just says that we're getting old, and it's just time to make a change. You know what I mean? And yes, it sounds good, but you know, hopefully one day my messages or whatever the case may be will have an impact on, even if it's just one person. You know what I mean? Hopefully, regardless of how this life chose me and the aggression that I tend to give off from time to time, you know what I mean? Hopefully someone was able to connect to that and gain some type of influence in their lives to go a certain route or do better. You know, it's more than hair. It's more than locks to me. I'm more than my hair. And that's why I touch on other stuff. And even before I decided to go against the whole lock channel thing, you know, all of my videos, most of all of my videos, I get very personal and personable with you guys. You know what I mean? And that's just because I really just want to be raw. A lot of times these, you know, YouTubers, they like to use, oh, I'm being in my true authentic self and true authentic forms. And it's just like, really, not really. Like, we saying the same words, we're using the same lines. Like, nah, like, I just want to be raw material for you guys. You know what I mean? And like I said, a lot of people ain't gonna like that. You know what I mean? And I'm not humble enough, unfortunately. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I constantly pray that changes about me. You know what I mean? That I gain some great sense of humility, you know what I mean, on a level that I've never reached before. You know what I mean? Like, my mom, for instance, she had she was the fighter out of all her sisters. I think she got like 5 sisters or whatever. Like, she come from a big family as far as like growing up in the household. She had brothers and sisters. A lot of sisters. I got a lot of aunts. And she was the fighter. And You know, they used to call her Heavy D, this, that, and the third. And it's like, if you look at her now and you see who she is, like, yeah, she get on my nerves 99.9% of the time. But, like, who she is as a person, it's hard to see that she was that way that my aunts and uncles talk about. Or my older cousins, like, oh yeah, your mom used to knock them out. Like, your mom used to be wild. She used to, you know what I mean, knock them chicks out. Every time somebody had a problem, they used to call her. Like, I'll be like, what? You know, it makes sense because it's like, okay, well, I see where I get it from. But looking at her, like, she's so the opposite of that now, to the point where it's just like, I don't see it at all. Like, if it wasn't for my behavior, I really wouldn't even believe it. Like, I find it, and her hands is big as crap. She got, like, man, she got some man hands, man. But, it's just, I want that level of humility and that level of being humble. You know what I mean? I want to get to a place in life where people look at me and be like, yo, she used to be out here fighting, or she used to have a little attitude, she used to be a little firecracker. Now look at her. Like, you only get that from God, and you get that from growth and, you know, just growing up in maturity. You know what I mean? But all of that makes me think, you know what I mean? Just that's where my thoughts are this morning. You know what I mean? Just seeing the impact that John and a lot of other celebrities leave in so many lives who they've never even met. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. And to be the children, you know, like either the offspring or some type of relative or the wife or, you know, the husband of these individuals that leave a great legacy and somebody that makes somebody laugh. And, you know, laughter is a great thing. Like, that's a beautiful thing if you can bring so much joy to somebody, you know what I mean? Because my spirits isn't always up, you know what I mean? It's not always up. And to watch a clip of John Witherspoon, you know what I mean, like, that really would make me laugh regardless of what mood I'm in, you know what I mean? So it just has me acknowledging John Witherspoon is beginning to have that same effect. And that's why I came out with this video, you know what I mean? Just to acknowledge, you know, those people and who they are, you know what I mean? Like, and the impact that they leave. And it just makes you think, you're not doing enough. If you can't leave that same impact when you die, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You know what I mean? And it's not to say, you know, like, I want to touch the hearts of other people that haven't even met me, kind of thing. You know, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? In my world, you know? It's not to say, oh, you should live your life to touch the hearts of many. No, but in my world, that would be nice. That's an accomplishment. Whether it's behind the scenes or not, you know, if you can start a fundraiser, like, that's my goal. Like, I want to start a fundraiser or whatever and just do certain things with that. You know what I mean? Like, that. I have goals that is geared towards a specific group that I will not speak on, you know what I mean? Because if the Lord bless me enough to the point where this can happen, then we can refer back to this video. But in case that doesn't happen, then, you know, I ain't say it. You know, I'm just in my thoughts and my feelings. I'm very emotional today. I don't know if it's the weather, it's because I'm under the weather, is it because of the death, you know? I'm just very emotional today. This is because of these daggone hormones. Oh my God. But, you know, it is what it is. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I just want you guys to think. You know what I mean? A lot of times I say stuff not for you to agree with, because we all have our own opinions. And that's the beauty of having a brain that belongs to you. You know what I mean? But I like to state my perspective just to open your mind to my perspective. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people are so closed-minded, you know what I mean, to where their mind will not go outside of their realm. And the only way to do that is if you introduce a new perspective. You know what I mean? From a person that you don't know. So I just like to speak these things out just to get you guys to think. You know what I mean? It's not saying my perspective is right or wrong or anything of that nature. It's just to think. You know what I mean? God gave us a brain. Use it. Expand your mind in the thought process. You don't have to be put on this earth to touch the lives of many or anything like that. I don't believe that's a role meant for everyone. I'm getting hauls after this. There's some tissue. But anywho, oh, I look crazy. You know you look crazy. You know you stuffed up if your face looks stuffed up, okay? But yeah, guys, I just want you guys to think. Not everybody is meant to have that role. But nonetheless, that's a pretty dope role to have, to impact many lives that you haven't even touched. I mean, that you haven't even met personally, but you touched. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty dope. That's real dope. And whether people see me or I'm behind the scenes touching lives, you know what I mean, with the fundraising, excuse me, nonprofit organization that I want to start. You know what I mean? So, I feel like I just need to lay down. But let me stop talking, because the more I talk, the more choked up I get. So, you get my drift. You catch my message. Peace to love and harmony, and be blessed.